Imagine a room filled with soft lights, laughter echoing softly, and two pairs of eyes searching for each other amidst the crowd. In these first 20 seconds, we're not just witnessing an ordinary moment, we're witnessing moments when the heart speaks louder than words. While the world sees the spotlight, ARMY sees something deeper. A gaze that lingers just a little longer, a smile that appears for just one person. And that's where it all began, when Taehyung wanted Jungkook's love. As members of BTS, the two have grown up under the same light, weathering storms and celebrating triumphs together. But amidst the roar of applause and the cheers of the stadium, there's a quiet space that only they understand. A space where their language isn't just words, but a light touch on the shoulder, a stifled chuckle, and a caring, unwavering care. V, with his artistic soul and deep heart, has always been known as a unique and soulful figure. Beneath his stage charisma, there's a softer side that's rarely fully revealed. A side that emerges when he gazes at someone with a warm gaze, as if to say, "Stay here, by my side." And often, those gazes linger on one name. Jungkook, the passionate and sincere golden magne, may seem strong and confident. But around Taehyung, there's a subtle shift in the way he smiles. His smile becomes smaller, more genuine, as if he's returning to a safe haven. That's where ARMYs begin to feel a different vibe. There was one moment when Taehyung, in his soft voice, called Jungkook's name in the middle of an interview. It wasn't just any ordinary nickname, it was a call filled with hope. His eyes lit up, and for a split second, the world seemed to shrink to just the two of them. ARMYs watching couldn't help but melt pleading face Purple Heart. Taehyung has never been good at hiding his feelings. He's the type who, if he longs for a hug, will approach without hesitation. If he wants attention, he'll seek it with adoring eyes. And on many occasions, he does just that with Jungkook, leaning in gently, touching his arm, or simply sitting closer than necessary. Jungkook, on the other hand, may not always be verbal, but his response comes through his actions. He let Taehyung lean on his shoulder. He turned his head more quickly when Taehyung called out to him. He laughed harder at jokes that might have seemed ordinary to others. As if love wasn't about grand confessions, but about small, irreplaceable habits. Backstage, when the lights weren't on and the cameras weren't rolling, there was a more honest silence. Taehyung had been seen watching Jungkook with an expression that was hard to describe, a mix of pride, admiration, and something deeper, as if he was admiring not just a colleague, but someone who truly mattered. And when Jungkook felt tired, Taehyung was often the first to notice. He'd lean in, gently pat him on the back, or play a joke to ease his burden. In that simple gesture, it was clear that his desire wasn't just for attention, but for a genuine connection. There were moments on stage when Taehyung teased Jungkook with a mischievous smile, but beneath the joke was a longing for a response. When Jungkook responded with a brief hug or a touch on the shoulder, Taehyung's face changed. His smile softened, his eyes narrowed with happiness, as if his world had just become complete. For ARMY, their interactions aren't just fan service. There's consistency in the way Taehyung looks for Jungkook in a crowd. In the way he stands a little closer. In the way he says his name in a different tone than the others. All of it forms a story that resonates deeply with fans. Taehyung once said that he likes someone who makes him comfortable being himself. And whenever he's with Jungkook, his most honest side comes out unfiltered. He laughs more freely, acts more affectionate, and even doesn't hesitate to show vulnerabilities he rarely shares with the world. Meanwhile, Jungkook, known for his perfectionism and ambition, seems more relaxed when Taehyung is around. It's as if his presence is a reminder that he doesn't always have to be perfect. That there's someone who accepts him, even with his flaws and tiredness. When Taehyung wants Jungkook's love, it's not about big dramas or public confessions. It's about the small moments, how he waits for Jungkook to finish speaking before joining in on the laughter, how he tilts his head, listening intently. In their long journey as global idols, many things have changed. Their hairstyles, their album concepts, even their maturity. But one thing remains constant, the way Taehyung looks at Jungkook with the same tenderness he had all those years ago. ARMYs often catch moments when Taehyung seems a little jealous when Jungkook is too preoccupied with someone else. Not a dark kind of jealousy, but a sweet kind, one that makes him lean in and recapture the attention in the most adorable way. And Jungkook, without a word, almost always responds. He leaves space beside him for Taehyung. He turns his head when he feels noticed. It's as if an invisible thread always connects them, no matter how far apart they stand. Their romance, if you can call it that, isn't a fairy tale romance full of grand declarations. It's present in the consistent warmth, in the attention that never truly disappears, in the way Taehyung shows he's not afraid to want affection, and in the way Jungkook calmly accepts it. These moments, whether caught on camera or hidden behind the scenes, are treasures to ARMYs. Every glance, every smile, every brief hug felt like a puzzle piece that formed a bigger picture of their closeness. In the quiet waiting room, away from the camera's glare, Taehyung often sat a little closer than necessary. Not because there weren't any other seats, but because the distance felt important. Jungkook might be busy on his phone or joking with another member, but when Taehyung gently touched his arm, the response was always swift. A small smile, a warm glance, a sign that the connection was never one-sided. There were also times when Taehyung seemed quieter than usual, and Jungkook took the initiative to move closer. In their silence, there was no awkwardness. Only a comfortable silence, the kind that only two people who truly understand each other can have. That's where ARMY melted again, realizing that love isn't always loud. Sometimes it comes in the quietest yet most sincere forms. Each of their interactions was like a scene from a never-ending movie. The exchanged smiles, the brushing of shoulders, the simultaneous bursts of laughter, all of it formed a narrative that lives on in the hearts of fans. And when Taehyung gazed at Jungkook with the same tenderness as the first day they stood on stage together, it felt like those feelings never faded, only deepened. Perhaps the world will always see them as two superstars with incredible careers. But for ARMY, there's another, more personal story. The story of how Taehyung dared to show his softest side, of how he didn't hesitate to want Jungkook's love in the most honest way. And as long as those moments linger, as long as those gazes linger just a little longer, their story will always feel like the most beautiful thing ever witnessed. In the end, when Taehyung wants Jungkook's love, what we see isn't just two global stars. We see two souls growing together, learning together, and finding comfort in each other amidst the hustle and bustle of the world. And perhaps that's what makes their story so beautiful, because beneath all the glitter, all that remains is two hearts searching for and finding each other.